Every journey has a threshold. Ours began long before we set foot amongst the stones of Ek Balam. It started with chance encounters, a cab driver from Ethiopia whose life story read like a meditation on discipline, philosophy, and survival. And later, a fleeting alignment that hinted at Mercury's hand guiding the path. These were preludes, quiet signals that something awaited us, that the real journey was not just about travel, but about entering into a different rhythm, a deeper story. And that story came alive at Ek Balam, the Black Jaguar.
To understand the world, you must first know yourself. But how do we discern what is real? Embark on this journey to discover more about your real potential. Uncover the mystery in the tarot.
Ek Balam, the name itself speaks of mystery. Ek meaning star, Balam meaning jaguar. To the Maya, the jaguar was celestial, a guardian of the underworld, a guide between realms. Our guide, Felix, nicknamed Chewbacca, reminded us that the Maya did not vanish, they dispersed. Some integrated into other cultures, others remained, quietly guarding their traditions.
You know, different kingdoms struggling for control and scheming for political power. You know, pretty much like any other kingdom and anywhere else. And also, not everything happened at the same time, because the Mayan, they began in South America. Guatemala, well, over there, the few settlements have been found like 3,000 years ago. Then, they had its peak around 1,500 years ago, like at Chichen Itza. This place, Ek Balam, is like a little bit before Chichen Itza, okay, maybe like 500 years before Chichen Itza. And it happens that when the conquerors came and they found this place, they found it ravaged already, okay, like if they came late to the party, okay. That a civil war has happened, okay, but no spoilers, we'll talk about that later on, okay. So, and I'm talking about the 1,500 years ago being the peak of the Mayan, because it was in that period of time that the Mayan ruler, they wanted to, well, they built everything huge, okay? Because they wanted to show off that they had the power and the resources, and they also began to think of themselves as direct descendants of the gods. You know, like any other king, anywhere else, okay? And then the town hall was in Tulum. Tulum was the last site the Mayans built before scattering in the jungle to focus on survival, okay? Because I am sure that you have heard a lot of theories about the Mayan disappearing. And what doesn't help is that from time to time some media, like History Channel, can get a little weird after midnight, okay? Like just a little. But please, okay? The Mayan, they didn't go anywhere. They are still around here. Up to this day, I have friends and co-workers that they not only keep their Mayan last names, but they still do speak Mayan. To prove my point, I'm not sure how familiar you are with the Spanish language. Do you understand a little bit? Look, I'm not sure if you noticed that usually the staff at the resort, usually the bellboys, as soon as they realize that you can understand some Spanish, they switch to something else. Or sometimes they are speaking something else in between them that you cannot get it. Maybe you're like in the mood like, okay, I'm in Mexico, I will practice my listening. What the? Yeah, I don't get it. It is because they still do speak Mayan.
At the gate, a local guardian spoke with me. His Spanish was limited. He spoke mostly Mayan. Yet somehow, through fragments of communication, we understood each other. A reminder, meaning flows deeper than language. The pyramid here, often mistaken for a tomb, was a ceremonial structure, a place for the elite to commune with the divine, to seek symbolic deification. Walking the grounds, I couldn't help but see the layout as stages of an inner ascent. The portal, the observatory, the ball court, and finally the Acropolis, the burial place of the king. And at the same time, a symbolic seat of the gods.
I walk through the woods, then we come across the wall of the leftovers of a war, in this case. And once we're inside, everything will open up as a garden. Now, if I ask for you to think of a castle, it's pretty much the same concept. You know, inside the walls on VIPs as royalty, high-rank priests, high-rank soldiers, maybe some helpers, and everybody else, the village nearby. Nowadays, Temozon. And during daytime, they open the gates to let everybody in, you know, to the business in the safety of the walls. And when the sun goes down, again, okay? So you will see that if you happen to visit Tulum, you will notice that pattern. At Chichen Itza, you will see that. Around here, you will see that, okay? So there is always the same pattern. So yes, this was sacred grounds. Now that we stepped, you know, through the walls and on, everything used to be sacred grounds.
Felix also led us to the Ceiba Tree, the green bridge to heaven, its trunk armored with spikes, its roots plunging deep into the earth, connecting with underground rivers and cenotes. For the Maya, this was the Axis Mundi, the bridge of worlds. It called to mind Yggdrasil, the Norse world tree, and the sacred trees of so many traditions.
Depending on the area, can be as Ceiban, Ceibo, Ceibol, okay? Depending on the area. Because, you know, like nowadays, you can tell the accent of the people from the north, from the south, from the coast, in your own countries. Exactly the same apply to the Mayan, okay? Even the Mayan being spoken around here nowadays is more similar to Guatemala Mayan than to West Coast Mexico Mayan, okay? Now, it's a little bit dry at the moment. But well, this tree is one of the few trees that can break through the limestone to reach the underground water. So this means that a cenote or a stream, because we will see a lot of these trees on the way.
Later, we descended into a sacred cenote. Before entering, we received a blessing. Smoke, holy water, prayers, leaves brushing the body. The ritual of cleansing, physical and spiritual. Even before stepping into the water, we were asked to wash away anything artificial, sunscreen, perfumes, lotions, so as not to contaminate the sacred. The cenote itself was immense, a hidden temple breathing beneath the earth. No photo, no clip could capture its majesty, its presence. Before we left, we carried with us obsidian jewelry, blessed by the shaman, infused with that moment. Ek Balam is not just ruins, it is a living threshold, walking its stones, descending into the nearby cenote, standing beneath its sacred trees. You feel the presence of something ancient, something that still breathes. But these places also remind us of a tension. They are sacred sites, thresholds between worlds, and yet they are also destinations on a tourist map. On one hand, tourism allows these sites to be preserved, studied, and kept alive. On the other, it risks reducing them to backdrops for photos rather than sanctuaries for reverence. Standing at Ek Balam, I felt the weight of both truths, that these mysteries are here for us to learn from, to be humbled by, but also that they are not ours to consume lightly. Perhaps the true task as visitors is not just to see, but to listen, to remember that some places are more than attractions, they are teachers, and Ek Balam, the Black Jaguar, still waits for those willing to approach with respect. I'm Wayne, creator of the Global Fusion Intuitive Tarot deck, published by US Games Systems, and creator of the forthcoming Thalion project. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. Please like, subscribe, and share this video with others. Peace and blessings.
To understand the world, you must first know yourself. But how do we discern what is real? Embark on this journey